Hi, this is Bill Prater, and welcome to Business Builders Show, where we feature champions in their respective industries from all over the planet. Our mission is to provide you with timely, provocative, and actionable resources that will inspire, promote, and accelerate your quest for business excellence. Today, we're going to find out how to expand your business without losing your best talent. And Claire Chandler will talk us through exactly how to get that done. Now, Claire's the founder and the president of Talent Boost, and she deeply believes that leaders shape cultures and stronger cultures drive greater success. She specializes in helping businesses expand without losing their best talent. Using her proven growth on purpose framework, she has helped her clients quadruple their engagement, 6x their revenue, maximize profitability, and double their market presence. She's so popular, she's been on over 150 podcasts and now 151 at least. She's a regular contributor on Forbes. She's published several books on culture and leadership, and including her most recent book, Growth on Purpose, which is an Amazon bestseller. It's great to have you here, Claire.
Thanks, Bill. It is so great to see you again and to be on your show.
Likewise. Now, I know this, but our listeners don't quite yet know exactly who you serve.
I typically serve larger organizations, mostly in the US, but some international, who are experiencing significant growth, whether that is through M&A, through geographical expansion, through one strategically procured employee at a time. And so we help their growth journey and help them through the growing pains that go along with that.
So that indicates there must be some problems that you've identified, Claire, and solved for them. So what are the typical problems that occur when companies go through those transitions you're talking about?
Yeah, so many, but they typically will boil down to four main pain points. And they are what I would term low attraction. So the inability to attract the right talent at the right time, low retention. So once you have acquired that talent, the ability to keep them for longer periods of time, low engagement. So even if you do keep them in-house, the ability to have them deepen their commitment through their contributions and through their cohesion with a team, and then low mobility. We are finding that a lot of organizations are suffering from an inability to promote from within and to fill critical vacancies with talent that is ready to go.
So, Claire, how do you guys go about solving those problems? What's your methodology, your framework, your system? Why don't you come and walk us through a typical engagement and what it looks like?
Yeah, so the typical initial engagement with any new client is a very intense 90-day deep dive, radical current state assessment of what is the culture, what is the appetite for growth, the ability to grow for the organization. And we take them through a series of milestones over those 90 days and arrive at, by the end of it, what I would call to be catchy: right talent, right message, right strategy. And so by the end of those 90 days, that client will have a much clearer picture of their highest potential, highest performing talent radar, if you will, and not only just the list of who they are, but how ready they are to leave your organization. So what are the flight risks, and some strategies for retaining them a little bit longer and engage them a little bit deeper. The right message is, if you can't get your team to resonate with the strategy that you're trying to fulfill, you're not going to get them to deepen that commitment. You're not going to get them to go above and beyond. You're certainly not going to get them to work together collaboratively and support that shared mission. And so we strike upon the right message or messages that will resonate with that talent, so that they will actually lower their shoulder to the wheel and put in that discretionary effort. And then the third deliverable or milestone is really around right strategy. So by the time you get to the end of that 90-day engagement, what is the roadmap that, even if you just took that in-house and did it all yourself, what are the steps that you need to take to really build out a talent ecosystem that will fuel your growth strategy?
Excellent. So I know that you've got tons of competition out there too, Claire. So you're probably asked, how are you different? I'm going to ask you, how are you different from all those competition? I know some organizations you compete with are gigantic companies. So tell us about you, them, and the difference.
Yeah, there are certainly some Goliaths out there in the industry. There's no doubt, and not to name names, but I'm sure your audience can think of the big ones that come to mind. In other industries, there's that saying that no one ever got fired for hiring Microsoft. In my industry, in the business advisory, the leadership advisory, there are fill in the blank of no one ever got fired for hiring X. I think what sets me apart from that competition is most other consulting firms or advisory practices specialize in either building up and increasing team cohesion, so what you would call team building or team dynamics, or they specialize in helping companies develop their business strategy. Talent Boost, my firm, really is unique in that it brings the best of both of those worlds together. So while we help organizations from the inside out strengthen their team dynamics, their ability to attract and retain and grow and engage the right talent, we also then parlay that directly into how do you generate and harness that enthusiasm and those talents and those competitive differentiators within the walls of your organization to truly execute your strategy. And by the way, the other way that we differentiate from the competition is the big guys, a minimum engagement is about $500,000. We can come in and do a much more bespoke experience that actually will move the needle for you without that hefty price tag.
A couple of other differentiators too, but you and I can talk about those offline. Let's talk about your business. And so take us back, walk us through your journey. I know that you used to be a corporate dynamic employee and you changed your mind at some point in time. So walk us through how you went about starting your business, building your business. What did you learn along the way? Just tell us your story.
Yeah, I would love to. So I spent the first 20 or so years of my professional career as a corporate employee. After, by the way, finishing college and swearing that I was never going to work in corporate. I am the product of a school teacher and a small business owner. And so my DNA was really not oriented toward the corporate experience. But alas, when I finished college, that's where the opportunities were. And in 2011, I was a senior leader in human resources for a large global utility company on an executive track, being groomed to take over as the head of HR, traveling 3 weeks out of 4, the drill, just constantly on the hamster wheel. And in my travels, I had a little bit of a health head scratcher, I'll call it. And one test led to another. And in the spring of 2011, I received a cancer diagnosis. And I look back at that year and I am so grateful for getting cancer. And people look at me weird when I say that, as you're doing right now. It was a tremendous gift because anyone who works in corporate knows that you are constantly working too fast, too hard, with too many balls in the air to ever stop and take stock of, are you truly on the path that you're meant to be on? Are you truly doing what you're passionate about? And the gift that cancer gave me was I had to go from 150 miles an hour to 0. I had to take a month off of work, have surgery, have treatments, recover. And in that quiet, I finally could not outrun that voice in my head that had been trying to ask me that question. And so I finally had to acknowledge in that silence that the answer was no, that while I was enjoying the people that I worked with, I was challenged by the work, I really wasn't passionate. The field of HR that I was in at the time, I was the divisional head of HR for our largest division in the utility industry. It really wasn't revving my engine. It really wasn't lighting me up. And I spoke to a few people in my professional network that I trusted. And I said, am I crazy for thinking that maybe I should walk away from my really good, successful corporate career and jump into the entrepreneurial unknown? And I remember calling one of my business mentors And I expected him to talk me out of what I was thinking, which was to just come back after I was healthy, give notice, and take the leap. And instead of talking me out of it, he said, I've been waiting for your call. He knew what I had been avoiding because of the noise, because of the traffic, because of the traveling 3 weeks out of 4, that I was really meant for something different. And so I got healthy. I returned to work. I had a very honest conversation with my boss. We negotiated a graceful exit. It took me a few months. I wanted to make sure that I left my team and my work in a good place. And I finally left in the fall of 2011. And it took me about 2 years from that point until I founded my company, Talent Boost, to really figure out, of all the things that I could do, of all the things that I enjoyed doing, what did I really want to build a business around? What did I want my mission to be? And so in September of 2013, I founded my company. The tagline for Talent Boost is talent isn't born, it's boosted. I truly believe that every organization and every employee within that organization has it within them to be amazing. And sometimes they just need an outside guide like me to get out of their own way and to figure out what is lighting them up inside, if only they filter out the noise and the traffic and the overwhelm. And so fast forward today, that was 11 years ago, and we're going strong. I recently just brought in my husband as my business partner. And you had asked me before we started recording, like, how are you making that work? And we're getting a lot of those questions because I think a lot of people think, I love my partner, not sure I could be a business partner to them. But it truly has been an example of 1 + 1 = 3. He brings in different lenses, different experience. But we both have such a strong sense of mission and of purpose. He being a military veteran, I being the child of a military family. And it's really been amazing. And it's that next pivot point in the evolution of our company. So I'm really excited about what's next.
Well, talking about what's next, what car would you say is holding your business back right now? What's your what barrier is in front of you that you're trying to go through, around, over, whatever?
Yeah, like most entrepreneurs will tell you, and I consider myself an entrepreneur for sure, I'm a bit of a control freak, right? So going from a solopreneur practice to now having this business partner and having these broader avenues through which we can serve our clients, our biggest hurdle is putting together the systems behind the scenes to really serve as the platform for us to continue to be client facing and to continue to deliver what our clients need over and above what they want. And so that is the next priority, is to put together a couple of more systems for the behind the scenes, the back office, probably hire a real rock star VA to really support us, to keep us organized and to hold us accountable while we're out there conquering the world.
So that's great. I'm glad you're so articulate about that barrier, so I can envision exactly what you're up to. Now let's talk to our listeners and tell them how exactly they can go about getting a hold of you. What's the best way?
Yeah, so a couple of ways. Our company website is talentboost.net. You can learn much more about not only my work, but now the services that we provide collectively now that I've brought on my husband/business partner. My personal branded site is clairechandler.net. So it'll give you a little bit more insight into my background and kind of what makes me tick. And then, of course, my social media of choice is LinkedIn. I've got a growing, enthusiastic network there. So I would love for your audience to reach out there, connect with me, and say hello.
Claire, tell us, what's a question that maybe I should have thought of and didn't? And then you can tell us the question and then tell us the answer. And it should be something that our listeners would really get great value from hearing the question and the answer from you.
Yeah, you mentioned in the introduction to me and sharing a little bit of my background that I recently published my latest book, Growth on Purpose. So I think the question to ask would be, how do I learn more about your framework, your methodology around growth on purpose? The answer to that is simple. You can go to growthonpurpose.com. That is a website where you've got two very simple kind of choose your own adventure choices, right? There's a link out to the book on Amazon if you'd like to purchase that. But a free, very simple step that everyone can take is to click the button for the scorecard. And so this is a free assessment that anyone can take, especially leaders in an organization that is trying to grow and is maybe stumbling through some of those growing pains that I mentioned earlier. But they can go to take that scorecard. It literally takes 5 minutes. And if you're trying to grow your business, if you're struggling to attract and retain and keep the right talent, go and invest that 5 minutes, because what you will get at the end of it is not just a one-page summary of where you stand and what you can do about it, but you will also immediately get emailed to you a detailed PDF report of exactly the steps that you can take, simple actions to increase your ability to grow and to expand without losing your best talent.
Great. Thanks for that. Thanks for that extra website and the great resource you just offered for everybody. Now, thanks for listening, everybody. Now let's focus on a single fact, and that is that our businesses don't become extraordinary in a single moment. Instead, they get there as a result of the owner first creating a visionary strategy, of then using a management system to execute on that strategy, and number three, leveraging high performance teams. We just talked about teams. Claire is a potential member of that team. So reach out and talk to her. Now, all those resources we just talked about and more are available for you at my YouTube channel called Business Mastery Pro. So go there, enjoy. Thanks for listening, Claire. Thanks for sharing your time with us today.
Thanks, Bill. It's been great.